So the power of powers says we multiply when we have an exponent on the outside. So, and so when you multiply fractions, you have 7, you multiply the numerator times the numerator, the denominator times the denominator. And if you can cross reduce. So when you multiply 7/8 times 1/2, you do 7 times 1 equals 7, and 2 times 8 is 16. So you have C to the 7/16. That's it. So what does a 1/2 power mean? So the 1/2 power mean, if you look at your next formula, you have rational exponents. So that's when you have exponents that are fractions. So 1/2 is square root. So for instance, 2 squared is 4. So 4 to the 1/2 power, so raised, delete, raised to 1 divided by 2 is 2. So, and then times 2 again would be 8. So the cube root of 8, so raised to the 1/3 power, is 2. So the bottom number is your root. The 3 makes it, is raising it to that power. So for instance, the second one, what's the square root of 25? 5. And then you cube it. 5 times 5 is 25 times 5 again. If you had 5 quarters, you would have 125 cents. So 25 to the 3/2 is 125. Not that you have to know that. So what you have to be careful of is that this exponent goes to both numbers, not the 1/2. The 1/2 only goes to the x. So don't apply the 1/2 to the 25 and apply the 3/2. So 25 to the 3/2 is 125. And then x to the what? So just look at the tops. What is 1 times 3? 3. And 2 times 2 is 4. So don't get scared if you see fractions. 1, your calculator will multiply for you. But when you multiply fractions, you just multiply the numerator and then the denominator.
Did I miss a step?
Excuse me?
You said 3/2, but on the whiteboard you wrote 1/2.
It is, oh, I missed it. I wrote it wrong. So I need to correct that. So it should be 3. 1/2. Thank you. Okay, so number 3, the 4th root of 16 is what? So in y'all's calculator, do 16 raised to the 3/4 power. And what do y'all get?
8.
Because 16 to the 4th is 4th root would be 2, and then 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 again is 8. So 8, x to the what? So we have 2/5 times 3/4. Can you reduce? Can you cross reduce? Is 2 and 4 both even numbers? How many times does 2 go into 2? Come on, guys, that's 1. And Sophia, into 4? 2 times? And so 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 5 is 10. So make sure you reduce. Or put the multiplication in your calculator and using alpha x or alpha y equals, depending on what calculator you have, and it will reduce for you. Okay, so 4, 5, and 6, they are scientific notation division problems. So unfortunately, they're word problems. They're not hard word problems, but I couldn't find any in Get More Math that was just a division. But that's what we are going to be doing. So how do you know if a number? So what does it mean when it's times 10 to the 7th? Is that a big number or a small number? Big. It gets bigger. So 10 to the 6th is going to be your smaller. So how many times larger was attendance for Chicago than Houston? So in all these, you're just taking the larger number and dividing it by the smaller. And so that's the division problems I wrote for 4 and 5. So you have 8 times 10 to the 7th divided by 4 times 10 to the 6th. Okay? Notice that it says provide your answer in integer or a scientific notation. I want you to enter it in scientific notation only because that is how it is tested. Even though you could put it as an integer, and it's super easy. You take the numbers and you divide. What is 8 divided by 4? 2. And then you use the properties of exponent. When you divide, you subtract the exponents. So what is 7 minus 6? 1. That's the answer in scientific notation.
You also, oh wait, I'm on the wrong thing. Never mind.
Number 4. And we can come back if you don't get it written.
I got it.
Perfect. Okay, so number 5, again, how many times more did company T send than J? So you're just dividing the larger by the smaller. So 8.4 times 10 to the 6th divided by 4.2 times 10 to the 5th. And so you take these two numbers and you divide. So what is 8.4 divided by 4.2? 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 4, 2 point, it's just 2. So 2 times 4 is that, times that, it's just times 2. And times 10 to the what? So again, you take the exponents and you subtract them. 1. Do you have to have the 1 on the 10? No. So it'd be just 2 space x space 10 when you type it in Get More Math. Okay, and the last one, they are negative exponents. And so the one that was on, they have 2 of them on released STAR test. There are positive exponents and one that is positive and negative. So this one is both negative. So which one is the larger? So when the number is a negative, you're going back the other direction. So you're going to move the decimal over 3 places. So is negative 1 with negative 3 power or negative 6? Which one's larger? Negative 3. So you're going to do 3.12 times 10 to the negative 3rd divided by 1.56 times 10 to the negative 6. And imagine that this divided equals 2. So far, they've all had the same. Times 10 to the what? So again, we're going to take those numbers and we are going to subtract. So you're going to have negative 6, the bottom number, negative 6, actually, negative 3 minus a negative 6. So what happens when we have double negatives? It turns into a positive, exactly. So, and that's 6 minus 3 is 3. So it ends up being 10 to the third. So if you were putting that in the calculator, it would be negative 3 minus negative, the negative sign, 6. If you put two negatives, it'll end up multiplying.